Man, bikes, I don't know why, but sometimes I get these little verbal hiccups, not like Tourette's. I always thought that'd be kind of wild, just yelling out random stuff. Imagine the conversations, but nah, it's just bikes, plain old bikes. Just pops into my head like a bad country song, stuck on repeat, playing in the honky tonk of my brain over and over, probably millions of times by now. But see, it all comes back to this one show, Scared Straight. You ever catch that train wreck? Pure gold. Let me tell you, they grab these little hellions, middle and high schoolers, the ones who think detention is a five-star resort, and they toss them into the slammer for a day, hoping a little taste of the big house will straighten their twisted little minds. Like a backwoods chiropractor, but hold on to your britches. Because there's this one episode back in '99, uncensored, which is just straight up bananas. And instead of your run-of-the-mill county jail, they ship these little demons off to a maximum security penitentiary where the inmates just verbally unleash hell on these kids, turning them into weepy little puddles, and it's the darn funniest thing I've ever seen. Now don't go feeling too sorry for them. These ain't your average spitball shooting choir boys. These are kids who think shanks are just fancy toothpicks. Tough little bastards, walking in with all the swagger of a rooster in a henhouse, like, what's up? I ain't scared, but then comes crazy Chris, face looking like a roadmap of bad decisions. And the screen freezes. Tells you Chris has offed 6 folks and is doing double life. This dude's so bad. When he dies, his next life is doing time too. And Chris gets up in their grill, says, "You'll see me in your nightmares." And these kids, barely teenagers, are like, "Whoa, dude, chill." But he ain't done. He says, "If I see you again, I'll take a bite out of each of you." And they're practically signing up for Sunday school right then and there. But then comes the next guy, walks up and says, "Hold my pocket." Makes him walk around, hold me inside of his pocket. Now, I don't know what you know about prison, but holding another dude's pocket is like wearing a neon sign that says, "Kick me." And this ain't just about the pocket hold. He's spouting the most ungodly things at these kids. Talking about breakfast and stuff you can't say on TV, like he's running a twisted Lil Abner comic strip in their heads. There's this one kid, all of 13, looking like a dandelion in a hurricane. Bowl cut parted right down the middle like a dirt road. And this prisoner asks him why he's there. And the kid mumbles, "Stealing." And the prisoner leans in, all menacing. "The fuck you took." And the kid squeaks out, "Bikes." And the prisoner just booms, "Bikes," and that's it. That's why I yell bikes. See a bike store, holy moly, it's like a primal scream therapy session in my Honda. My wife's about had it. She just sighs and says, "You get one." So I gotta make it count. I pull over, roll down the window, wait for some poor soul to be checking out the sidewalk display, gazing at some shiny new Schwinn. And when they find the one, the light hits it just right, they're about to make a move. I unleash the beast, "Bite," I yell, and they jump back like they seen a ghost. Then I add for good measure, "Stop selling drugs," and I peel out of there, leaving them standing there, wondering if they just stepped into some kind of backwoods fever dream. Kinda like this whole story, ain't it? All right. Settle down, y'all. Let me tell you something. Veen grew up in Louisiana, right? Place flatter than a pancake, more humidity than a frog's armpit. I had this buddy, Earl, bless his heart. Earl thought he was a Ninja Turtle. Not like the cool kind, like the sewer rat kind, you know? Always wearing green, heading in the ditch, eating whatever crawled by. Now Earl, he was convinced he was saving the city, even though the biggest crime we had was Mrs. Higgins' cat stealing Mr. Thibodeau's shrimp. So, growing up in Louisiana, right, we had this neighbor, Mr. Thibodeau, who collected bottle caps like obsessively. He had him glued to his car, his house, even his dentures, I swear. But he always told me, "Theo, boy, life's like a bottle cap, shiny and meaningless until you find the right bottle." And I never knew what that meant until I made this music video, see, because it all started with Segal. Yeah, that's Steven Segal, my sensei, the Aikido master, who's now like a Russian ambassador of Beef Bake or something. I wanted to honor him, even though the man looks like he's starring in a vodka commercial, you know? So we're there on set, dancing for like 4.5 hours straight for an 80-second video. And let me tell you, those dancers are saints. They move like swamp angels, just grinding and shaking like it's nothing, while I'm out there looking like a confused crawfish in a hurricane, exhausted everything hurtin', but Segal would be proud. I know he would. Plus, we needed Bert Kreischer, my buddy, to play a bigger version of himself, which is kind of redundant, like ordering a double cheeseburger with extra cheese. But we needed his face. See, so we tricked him, told him we were filming promos for our podcast, Two Bears, One Cave, and he just sat there making faces like a chimpanzee trying to understand algebra, and they weren't even recording the sound. Just the video, pure genius. He's like a golden retriever, just happy to be involved, until he figured it out on the podcast. Pure gold. That moment was better than finding a 20 in your winter coat. But then came the fun part, killing Bert. And that wasn't even my idea, that was Rami. My director, he's like the Tarantino of comedy videos. He's like, why don't you stab him? And I'm all in. Then it escalated. Stab, handgun, shotgun, machine gun. I'm feeling like I'm in a Rambo movie directed by Mr. Rogers. And I swear, I'm not a violent person. I just love a good visual gag. You know, afterward, everyone was asking Theo, how much did this cost? Like I'm freaking Elon Musk with a crawfish accent. But Rami hooked me up friend rates. He's a real one. So it wasn't six-figure, but it was more than Bert's therapy bill. I'll tell you that much. And to Bert, I gotta say I love you, man. It was fun, but let's be real, I can run faster, jump higher. I'm stronger, like a genetically modified otter. So, next time, bring your A-game. Or maybe just bring some bottle caps, Mr.
So, Thibodeau would be proud. He'd probably glue him to a coffin or something. All right. Settle down, folks. You're looking good tonight. Real good. Reminds me of my cousin Skeeter's prize-winning hog, Mabel, all dressed up for the county fair. Shiny, expectant eyes, just hoping for a blue ribbon. Speaking of ribbons, I was helping my grandma, bless her heart, tie up her tomato plants last summer, and she says, Theo, life's like a tomato plant.
You gotta stake it, give it support, otherwise it'll just sprawl all over the place, getting all tangled up in the weeds. Now, Grandma's a smart woman, but sometimes she's chess in riddles like she's Yoda wearing a floral apron. They got me thinking about this Tom Brady fella. See, the GOAT, right? GOAT, they call him greatest of all time white guy, which, let me tell you, down in Louisiana, that's just a Tuesday. All right, so I was back home in Louisiana, right? Just the other day visiting my cousin Dale. Dale's got this pet raccoon named Ricky. And Ricky, I swear to God, he's got more self-awareness than half the people I went to high school with, including myself on Tuesdays. So Dale's trying to teach Ricky to play the harmonica, right? Harmonica, folks. This ain't no triangle. This is Louisiana blues we're talking about. And Ricky, bless his little bandit heart, he's just squeaking, sounding like a rusty gate, fighting a goose. But Dale's convinced he's about to unlock the secrets of the Delta. Anyway, watching Dale and Ricky got me thinking, you know, about why we do things for ourselves, for other people, or maybe just to escape the sound of Ricky trying to play Amazing Grace. And it's like this whole waxing thing. I mean, I don't get it, but I kind of do, because it's like that needle, that anticipation, that little bit of trauma, and then bam, it's over. You know, kind of like watching Ricky play the harmonica, just a sudden burst of pain followed by a deep sense of relief. I saw this girl getting waxed, right? Talk about vulnerability, lying there naked, feeling like a crawfish at a boil, but she's doing it supposedly for the fellas, but let's be honest, it's for her, because feeling good, feeling clean, that's a feeling that's worth enduring the whole hairy situation, right? This one lady, Cindy, she reminds me of my grandma, always telling me things are going to be okay. Even when a tornado's ripping through your double wide, she's getting the girl waxed, talking about all the trauma, like being naked around people is easy as pie, which it ain't, unless your pie is made of anxiety and existential dread. Now, I ain't judging, 'cause I've been there, I've felt that fear, but what really got me was the idea that this is what women go through all the time, the pain, the awkwardness, the vulnerability, just to maintain a certain standard. And for what? For some dude who probably can't even tell the difference between a waxed leg and a freshly mowed lawn. I tell you what, next girlfriend I have, she's getting a lifetime supply of wax on my dime, because that's the least I can do for someone putting up with my Ricky harmonica impression. All right. All right. So I was back home in Louisiana last summer, you know, visiting Mama, and she's got this rooster, right, named Clarence. Now, Clarence thinks he's the sheriff of the whole dang yard, strutting around like he's got a mortgage on the place, pecking at anything that moves, even Mama's ankles, which, bless her heart, she just swats at him with her cane like he's a mosquito the size of a chihuahua. And it got me thinking about stuff like how everything's got its own pecking order, even in a chicken coop in the middle of nowhere. And that reminded me of, everything kind of has an order, things like trust and relationships. Like, if you're going to build something solid, you got to lay that foundation early, right? Kind of like mama building that fence. Every little piece helps to keep those chickens in. Same goes in your marriage. That trust is going to take its time, but eventually, those birds are going to be flying and the chickens from next door is going to be watching and the neighbor's chickens all looking. So basically you're laying bricks, except those bricks are like honesty and openness and maybe a little bit of forgiveness thrown in there. Because let's be real, we all screw up, right? We all eat the corn, we're all guilty. Some people like Clarence think he is getting away with everything. But the real thing is that if you ain't got that trust, then your relationship is like mama's old shed. One big gust of wind and it's all gonna come tumbling down, chickens and all, leaving you standing there scratching your head wondering where you went wrong. So you gotta protect your foundation and nurture those chickens like the way she always says, you gotta water it so those beautiful feathers can come flying out. And if the thing is, sometimes that's a lesson I have to remember, just like Clarence and Mama. Sometimes those roosters are right behind you when you aren't looking. Man, I swear I remember one time back in Tickfall, Louisiana, used to go catfishing with my Uncle Earl. This dude looked like if a bear and a lawnmower had a baby, but gentle as a lamb till you touched his Copenhagen anyway, we'd be out there on the bogue chitto breathing in that swamp air thick enough to chew. And he always said, Theo, boy, sometimes the best way to catch a catfish ain't with no fancy bait. It's just acting real still, real calm, like a log floating downstream. Now, that ain't got nothing to do with cops, but bear with me, 'cause one time got pulled over outside Baton Rouge, felt like I was in a dang aquarium with that flashlight blazing in my eyes. Cop comes up looking like he swallowed a lemon whole. Sir, you know why I pulled you over? And I remembered Uncle Earl's catfish wisdom, so I took a deep breath like I was smelling honeysuckle on a summer morning, stared straight ahead like I was looking into the dang future. Let him ask again, sir, do you know why I pulled you over? And this is where it gets real. Tick for real, Uncle Earl. I put my finger to his lips, gentle as a butterfly landing on a magnolia. Shh. I said like I was telling a baby robin to hush, then I ain't even lying. Stroked his mustache, just a little tap, 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 like playing a tiny piano on his face, and then, brother, I just eased on down the road, left him standing there looking like he'd just seen Bigfoot riding a uniskull. I'm telling you, sometimes treating a cop like a catfish is the dang answer. Now, I ain't saying it's legal, but I'm saying Uncle Earl would be proud, real proud. Man, growing up in Tickfall, Louisiana, population smaller than a Walmart, on Black Friday, we had this neighbor, Cletus. Now, Cletus, bless his heart, thought squirrels were just rats with better PR, and he swore he could communicate with them using only kazoo music and moonshine fumes, which, looking back, might explain a lot about Cletus's life choices, like the time he tried to ride a gator into town, claiming it was his Uber anyway. That whole Cletus situation reminds me of this article I read the other day about how AI is supposed to be like revolutionizing customer service, right? Promising us these seamless, efficient, emotionally intelligent interactions like a customer service rep that never sleeps, never gets hangry, and never needs a bathroom break, unlike my Aunt Shirley after a potluck, which can get dicey. But then you actually use these AI chatbots, and it's like talking to Cletus after he's had a bit too much of that squirrel whisperer juice. You ask a simple question like, where's my package? And it responds with something completely off the wall, like the meaning of life is 42, but have you considered the existential dread of being a digital assistant? I swear I asked one chatbot about my phone bill and it started reciting Shakespeare. Now Shakespeare is all well and good. I like a good sonnet as much as the next fella, but I just needed to know why I was being charged for data roaming when I was sitting in my own darn living room. But these chatbots, they're just going on about to be or not to be, and I'm like, to be connected to Wi-Fi or not to be? That is the question. Now answer me, you digital Cletus. And it's supposed to be getting better, but it's like teaching that gator to drive. You might get it to move forward eventually, but you're going to have a lot of fender benders and a few folks ending up in the bayou. And I'm just sitting here thinking, we're putting so much faith in these artificial brains, hoping they'll solve all our problems, when sometimes you just need a real human being, even if they smell like biscuits, and met their spouse on Ancestry Mingle. At least they'll understand the question, where's my damn package? Without launching into a soliloquy about the fleeting nature of existence It's like that time Cletus tried to teach his parrot to say, I love you, and it only learned to mimic the sound of a rusty chainsaw. You get the technology, but you lose the soul. Come to think of it, is probably what happened to my Aunt Shirley after that last potluck. All right, all right. Now, so boom, let me tell you something. Grew up down in Little Ranger, all right? Smallest town you ever did see. Except maybe for that time I saw a cat here in a tiny cowboy hat in a dollhouse. Smaller than that even. And there was this fella, Billy Bob, no relation to Thornton's or whatnot. But this Billy Bob thought he was Bruce Lee, even though he looked more like a possum trying to do the splits. Anyway, Billy Bob was all about martial arts, always saying it was the only way to know which style was the real deal. Like figuring out if Tabasco sauce really goes on ice cream, some things you just gotta try.
And he'd go on about how they need a place where folks can use anything, everything, fists, feet, headbutts, elbows, even beating if that's your thing, because can a real fight, there ain't no rules except maybe don't poke a fella in the eye with a dirty stick. It's kind of like them UFC fights, right? Bloodiest, most barbaric thing ever, but also kind of honest, like seeing a politician eating a corn dog, you get a real good sense of what they're about. So Billy Bob always said he designed this arena, an octagon, so no one could run away, because when you're getting your butt whooped, sometimes you just want to bounce, like when you accidentally walk into a family reunion full of folks you ain't seen since you had that unfortunate mullet. Man, last night was something, felt like I was wrestling a greased up pig in a mud pit of tequila and regret, you know? But now got to trade the party hat for the daddy diaper bag because my whole damn family's got the tummy rumbles worse than a biker gang convention after a chili cook-off. And I got to be dad, which let me tell you is like asking a squirrel to pilot a spaceship. Ain't nobody ready for that kind of chaos. I'm the kind of dad who'd fart in a McDonald's cup, slap my hand over it like I caught a damn firefly, and then walk it over to my daughters all serious like saying, girls, you ain't gonna believe this, but I just captured a few. Now I know what you're thinking, Theo. That's messed up. That's pure trailer park parenting. But hear me out. It's comedy, see? Because when they look in that cup expecting something magical, something like a tiny unicorn fart or whatever little girls dream about, and they just get a whiff of my swamp gas, their faces are priceless, like watching a puppy try to solve a Rubik's Cube. That's when you got to explain it to them. See, you got to break it down, telling girls daddy's teaching you comedy's a 101. It's all about ace direction, see? You thought you were getting fairy dust, but bam, fart cloud. They didn't get it. Of course, they ran to their mama, snitching like a couple of church mice, telling her I was making them eat farts, which ain't true. It was more of a forced aromatherapy session, if you want to get technical. And my wife blew a gasket, said I was scaring the kids. But I told her, I said, honey, you want equality in the workplace, you got to be able to take a fart to the face. It's like being initiated into the brotherhood of man. Every fella in this room knows what I'm talking about. But the best part, next morning, my youngest, that little hellion, is straddling my neck, trying to suffocate me with her tiny, slobbery self, while my older one's standing by, all innocent like, saying, Daddy, wake up, we got a joke for you. I open my eyes, half expecting to see they found my grandpa's old hunting rifle or something, but no, the little ankle biter says, guess what's in my hand, and I'm panicking, right? But then it dawns on me, every dad knows what's in her hand. It's the universal weapon of childhood. The silent but deadly, the old poop-hand trick. I'm practically bursting with pride, thinking I taught her that. I created a monster. But then she says a punch in the mouth caught me completely off guard, I swear. I made a face like a basset hound that just got handed a lemon, and the two of them just lost it, rolling on the floor, laughing harder than hyenas at a tickle fight, until they realized I wasn't laughing. See, my girls, they got a sick sense of humor. I'm talking Dark Ages level of twisted. It's like they're being raised by a pack of raccoons who moonlight as stand-up comedians. All right. So let me tell y'all something. Growing up in Louisiana, we had this old beagle named Blue, right? Dumber than a box rocks, but loved him to death. This dog, I swear, thought his own farts were a gift from God. Chase his tail round and round, snapping at that phantom smell like he just cornered the Easter Bunny. Reminds me, kinda, of how folks are treating this whole AI thing, you know? Sniffing around something they don't understand, thinking it's gonna solve all their problems, when really it's just gonna leave them gagging on its digital flatulence. I'm telling you, this AI stuff, it's like when my cousin Earl tried to make moonshine in his bathtub, sounded good on paper, ended up with a whole lot of nothing but regret in a bathroom that smelled like burnt tires. See, everybody's talking about how AI is going to revolutionize education, personalize learning, make every kid a genius, but I'm looking at it like Earl's bathtub moonshine. A lot of hype, a little bit of potential, and a whole heap of things that can go sideways real quick. They say it's going to adapt to each student's pace, give them custom-tailored lessons like some kind of learning concierge, but I'm thinking, what happens when the AI gets bored? What happens when it decides little Timmy needs to learn about the mating habits of the Bolivian tree lizard instead of fractions?
You think that algorithm cares that little Timmy's got a math test next week? Hell no, that algorithm's going to be off chasing digital butterflies, leaving Timmy in the dust with a bunch of tree lizard facts he can't use to save his life, just like when old Blue was chasing that fart, got nothing but air, and learned less than the dirt he snuffled. So I was at this crawfish boil back home, right? Uncle Bobby, bless his heart, tries to deep fry a whole watermelon. I swear to God, he saw it on Pinterest. Anyway, it explodes like a damn grenade, watermelon shrapnel everywhere. Nobody gets hurt, just covered in sugary goo and regret, mostly Bobby's. Reminded me of this one time I wrestled a gator at a church camp. Don't ask. But it got me thinking about the Travel Channel, which, yeah, they call me a professional fun seeker. Sounds like something a robot would say after its programming goes haywire. I'd rather be called professional dumbass because at least that sounds like me. I ain't fought no bear despite what the internet says, though I did once try to teach a possum to play the banjo. That's a story for another time and another bottle of sweet tea, but the Travel Channel's website is worse than dial-up internet at a Walmart parking lot. Oh, man. All right. So, listen, I was thinking about my Uncle Dale. Bless his heart, used to train squirrels to water ski. I ain't kidding. Literally skis. Garden hose rigged up to a kiddie pool. Pure Louisiana genius right there. But that ain't the story. Nope, it's like, remember them old gas station attendants? The ones who checked your oil and kicked the tires? That's how I feel sometimes trying to piece together this whole abortion doctor situation. Like, how do you end up there, you know? Is there some kind of career day where they hand out pamphlets saying, want to work with tiny humans, but like not really? I mean, what's the graduation speech like? Go forth and prosper, but maybe not. Listen, I ain't judging, just asking questions like a possum looking at a shiny hubcap. Pure curiosity, I dig. But seriously, let me give a shout out to this Helium Club in St. Louis. Feels like home here, better than my grandma's chitlins. And you gotta support real comedy, not just that TikTok garbage, because I got some buddies coming through. Brian Cowan, Tony Hinchcliffe, these boys are sharper than a badger's claw. But listen, my boy Tom Segura, he's been having a rough time, arthritis of the jaw. Can you believe that? From eating too much, too fast, like a damn garbage disposal choking on a Thanksgiving turkey. Doctors wired his jaw shut. Poor fellow looking like a mumbling woodpecker, can't even tell jokes, gotta slurp his gumbo through a straw in those keto protein bars. Lord have mercy, that's some high-grade suffering right there. He'll be here in July, just got his wires cut fresh as a newborn calf, so y'all show him some love, cause that boy is funnier than a screen door on a submarine. So raise your glass to Tom Segura. May his jaw heal quick and his jokes land harder than a wet sack of flour. All right, so I was down in Loringer, Louisiana, see, back when the only thing hotter than the humidity was my aunt Shirley's perm after bingo night. And I swear we had this neighbor, Earlake, who claimed he could talk to squirrels, like full-on conversations. And Earl, bless his heart, he ran a boat cleaning business, but only in Tampa, Florida, because he said the squirrels there gave him the best business leads, which, now that I think about it, might be as believable as cleaning boats in Tampa. But hey, at least it ain't as crazy as my buddy over here selling serial killer tour maps. Like, here's where Dahmer got his dry cleaning done. Real dark tourist stuff, you know. Speaking of dark, my other buddy here reminds me of Gerard Depardieu. Like, the man could be wrestling a bear while eating a wheel of brie, just living life to the fullest. Which brings me to the point. See, if these two fellas were going to get their lives told in a movie, it'd be like casting Zac Efron as one of them, all chiseled and ready to rise, and Ethan Suplee as the other, kind of mirroring their style, yeah. Now back when Ethan Suplee was still in his prime, before all the weight loss, before he could show off his shoulders on Baywatch. And let me tell you, these boys here, their lives, it's like a breakfast of champions. All right, more like coffee, burger, powerlifting, pizza, coffee, chicken wings, and podcasts, Italian food and edibles, and never-ending edible sleep, a breakfast sandwich versus an Italian turkey with extra meat, like spicy Italian at Subway, but with turkey and ham. You know, put these fellas in a horror movie, it'd be all suck and stick or scream and run. But honestly, they do the opposite of what they're told, screaming as loud as possible, running like hell, until it starts attacking and the other one is there. That it's, you know what? That's how it would go, I promise. If we raided their fridge right now, we'd find mayo, Kool-Aid, and Diet Coke, pizza, beer, and Diet Coke, a whole damn ecosystem of questionable choices. And who'd be the first to take a sip? Definitely me. I'd be like, there's got to be some alcohol in this, right? Hey, have you had a drink? Let me drink your piss. I hope you learned something about the power of friendship, because we sure did. and you can find my wilderness antics on Netflix, The Cabin. All right, so next time you and your friends are in the woods just trying to chill, remember if you happen across a bunch of pissed off squirrels, there is definitely an Earl nearby.
All right. So picture this. I'm back in Tickfaw, Louisiana, right? My Uncle Bobby, bless his heart, he had this pet raccoon named, wait for it, President McKinley. I swear that's what he called him. Anyway, McKinley was a menace. Stole dentures off the porch, chased the neighbor's chihuahua, classic raccoon stuff. But Uncle Bobby, he treated that raccoon like his own flesh and blood, even tried to get him a little coonskin hat for Christmas. Didn't go well. Raccoon bit him. So there I was, 7 years old, watching Uncle Bobby wrestle a raccoon while trying to put a hat on him. And I thought, man, this is love. This is true, unadulterated love. Man, I swear, growing up in Louisiana, we had this bathtub, right? Avocado green. Looked like Shrek's armpit. It was slipperier than a politician's promise. So time I'm in there just trying to exfoliate like a damn influencer, and bam, down I go like a sack of potatoes. But here's the kicker. My cousin, bless her heart, she's in there too, thinking she's auditioning for a shampoo commercial, all slow motion hair flips and whatnot. And I accidentally clothesline her with my flailing limbs. It was like a scene from a slapstick comedy, except nobody was laughing, especially her, because see, it's like this with women. They got this whole expectation thing going on, right? You're supposed to be this graceful, protective force field against the slippery demons of the porcelain abyss. But the truth is, I'm just a clumsy swamp creature navigating a world designed for ballerinas. And that's kind of how I see this whole body image thing too. Like, women are constantly getting judged, weighed, measured, told to shrink here, puff up there. It's like they're living in a goddamn funhouse mirror. And meanwhile, dudes are out here walking around looking like sentient beer kegs, rocking the dad bod like it's the latest fashion trend. And nobody bats an eye. It's a wild double standard. I tell you, it's like comparing a meticulously crafted souffle to a microwaved burrito. Both can be delicious, but one's definitely getting more side-eye at the dinner party, you know? So next time you see a woman falling in the shower, cut her some slack. She's probably just trying to wash her feet, and even if she ain't, it's probably better than the alternative, which is trying to date in the modern world. That's even more slippery, guaranteed someone will end up falling. Man, I swear to y'all, my niece, bless her heart, she's got a mind like a bag of hammers, you know? Like if you hang around her too long, you start thinking with your elbows, real talk. So we went on this family trip this summer, right? First morning, we're all chowing down on breakfast, and Isla, this little firecracker, she strolls in 5 minutes late, plops down, stares me dead in the eye, and says, "Hey, big boy, what'd you dream about last night, huh?" Now everybody at the table is looking at each other like we're witnessing a Bigfoot signing autographs because she thinks we're all living in the same nightly sitcom, like some kind of synchronized sleeping deal, you know? She's 12 years old, and for 12 years she thought we were getting the same dream program every night like it's freaking must-see TV, sponsored by Ambien. But then I'm sitting across from her thinking, hold on, what if she's on to something? What if she cracked the code and we're all just characters in her subconscious Netflix original? So I lean in all conspiratorial, "Hey, did you dream that I was locked in a trunk wearing a banana hammock and singing Dolly Parton?" My wife shoots me this look that could curdle milk like I just revealed the ending of The Sixth Sense at a funeral, and Isla kicks me under the table. "I'll talk to you after breakfast, Uncle Theo," all serious like she's debriefing a secret agent after a mission gone sideways. Later that day, we're heading out for some snorkel action, cruising on the boat, and I see Isla gazing off at the horizon, looking all pensive. She's pondering the mysteries of the universe, you know, a real Kodak moment. So I sidle up, ready for that heartwarming parent-child connection. "Hey, baby girl, what you thinking about?" She turns around, eyes all lit up, and goes, "We should get tattoos." I swear sometimes I think this kid eats nails for breakfast. All right. Settle down, folks. Let me tell you about my Aunt Shirley. Sweet lady. Bless her heart. Used to collect porcelain dolls. Hundreds of them. Creepy little buggers staring at her like they knew your deepest, darkest secrets. Anyway, she swore one blinked at her once. Said it was a sign from Elvis, who apparently communicated through antique dolls now. That's about as believable as trying to explain something on the internet these days. It's all just absolutes, like that Kaepernick fella taking a knee, trying to talk about police brutality. Something real, something that needs addressing, but folks just heard knee and saw a flag and lost their dying minds. My brother's fighting in Iraq. They yell like Kaepernick's knee was causing sandstorms or something. It's like trying to explain to a squirrel that acorns are food, not currency. Just ain't gonna happen. Reminds me of trying to get abs. Remember that? Used to think I'm gonna have a six-pack by summer. Ended up looking like I swallowed a keg. The effort involved. Lord have mercy, personal trainers yelling at you. Chefs making you eat sprouts that taste like sadness. Electrocution making you question your life choices. All for something you can achieve by breathing wrong. Meanwhile, getting fat, now that's effortless. Just lay on the couch, shoveling in those sweet, salty treasures like a dang gopher. No trainer needed, just pure unadulterated bliss. See, growing up, my family wasn't exactly huggy. More like two cacti trying to dance. Awkward and prickly. First hug I remember was when I moved out, and it was just bam, done. Like two parking meters bumping uglies. Haunts me to this day. I gotta yell at that memory sometimes just to shut it up. Shower regret is real. Let me tell you, that's where all the dumb stuff I did in third grade comes back to haunt me. But I asked my mama about the lack of affection. You know what she said? Your daddy didn't want me hugging you boys might make you gay. Lord have mercy. That's like saying, eating grits will make you speak Cajun. It's just plain wrong. But she was protecting him. See, he was afraid of raising sissies. So he sacrificed our hugs for the sake of machismo. It's twisted, I know, but hear me out. That's family, right? My dad was trying to improve on his childhood. Probably grew up in a barn where affection was a sign of weakness. So he took it from don't change his diaper, let him wallow in his own filth, to no hugs or else. And maybe, just maybe, if I ever have a kid, I'll take it one step further. No drama class. I'll yell, not 'cause I hate drama. Well, maybe a little, but 'cause I'm improving on my dad's childhood. Keeping the grit, tossing the hug phobia, you know? It's not homophobic, folks. Daddy issues, manifested as a deep-seated fear of velvet costumes and interpretive dance. Unless we at Fame High School, then throw cottage cheese at everybody.
Man, y'all ever been to London, Canada? It's like, bless their hearts, right? They're trying, but it's like naming your kid Elvis Jr. You just set him up for disappointment, you know? Reminds me of this one time. I was at Starbucks trying to be healthy, ordering just a black coffee. And this chirpy barista hits me with the welcome to Starbucks. What can we get you to eat today? I swear it's a conspiracy. They're pushing breakfast sandwiches harder than a used car salesman on payday. I'm thinking, lady, I came here for caffeine, not a guilt trip. I miss the honesty, the brutal, beautiful honesty of In-N-Out Burger. Pull up, order a double-double, animal-style fries and a Coke, and they hit you with the will you be eating in the car. They ain't judging. They know you're about to commit a culinary crime against humanity right there in your Honda Civic. It's pure unadulterated shame, and I respect that. Yes, it's pure unadulterated shame, and I respect that. It's like, I need that honesty. Like my dad, Lord rest his soul. He was the same way all the way back to Christmas Day when I was 12. And my sister says she wanted to smoke weed. My dad goes right into these war stories. You want to know what I think about marijuana? I saw one guy at a party with a cigarette. I left immediately. That's the first story, and the second one is about him wanting to murder the Viet Cong for selling it to his Marines. Like nothing in between, no trying it to see what's up, just pure and unadulterated story time with no nuance. It's like religion, ain't it? I respect all faiths, Christian, Muslim, even you Jews doing your thing. But if you're a Scientologist, you can go straight to hell. Let me tell you something, marriage, man. It's like finding that one crawfish in the boil that ain't spicy. Just pure sweet meat, you know? Because I used to be like a stray dog fighting for scraps of affection. Getting cheated on more times than a roulette wheel hits black changed my whole damn view of things. Used to watch America's Most Wanted as a kid thinking, how could someone kill another person? Then bam, infidelity hits, and I'm like, oh, I get it now. Not that I do it, but I understand the primal urge to protect what's yours. Kind of like how I feel about folks who've seen my junk or met my family. They know too much. Gotta go, vanish like a fart in the wind. That's just logic, folks. Pure survival instinct. Time, though, that's a whole nother beast, and I'm only 35. Practically a baby. But I've entered the gross phase, like a damp swamp cooler that leaks on your pants, always feeling slick like a dolphin. Especially the back of my britches. Sitting in restaurants, standing up, thinking I sat in something. Nope. Just swamp-ass courtesy of old Theo. Burping mid-sentence now, trying to muscle him down like a constipated bullfrog, loading up on bread and seltzer, feeling like the Goodyear blimp ready to take flight, then interrupting conversations about Italy with a kitchen run, asking if anyone needs a pause, hair sprouting on my shoulders like a damn Sasquatch, my wife rubbing him, singing Monkey, Monkey, Monkey Man under her breath. Something dredged up from the murky depths of her subconscious. Makes you wonder what your body is for anymore, just carting your head from room to room. Still waiting to get big and strong, but it ain't happening. I'm like an old iPhone, just getting worse every year. Plus I overheat mid-afternoon for no damn reason. Getting grumpy's a real danger, especially when every new song is about tonight. Pure 19-year-old bull manure. I want to write songs called Tonight's No Good. About Wednesday, oh, you're in Dallas. Fine, let's just not see each other for 8 months, who cares? The biggest head-scratcher is how they used to scare the bejesus out of us about weed. Now it's legal in half the damn country, ain't that something? I got arrested with a one-hitter at a Rusted Root concert back in the day, barely got a slap on the wrist. Probably got an award for being the most country that week. It's like the government finally turned into cool parents saying, fine, take a little, just do it in the house, but everything's moving too fast, unreasonably so. Now ain't the world's run by robots, and we spend all day providing proof we ain't one of them. Just to look at our own stuff. Gotta solve riddles like a digital sphinx. Prove you're not a robot. Look at these curvy letters. Harder than usual, right? No robot could read these. Is it an E or a th? Your guess is as good as mine. Bucko, gotta pass the password puzzles. Solve the robot test. Then comes the question no robot could ever answer. Which of these pictures does not have a stop sign? What in the hell are we doing, folks? Spending our days providing proof to a damn computer and it's doing nothing for our health.
All right, y'all. So check it. Growing up back in Louisiana, we had this neighbor, Mr. Thibodeau, smelled perpetually of boiled crawfish and regret, always hollering about politics, right? He'd be out there in his wife beater, swamp cooler, humming louder than a gospel choir, ranting about Bernie Sanders. Only he called him that dang commie Bernard. You know, like he knew him personally. Like they shared a po' boy back in '72, maybe at a political rally for the Band-Aid on Forehead Society. Who knows with Mr. Thibodeau, the man once tried to pay for groceries with a handful of cicadas, claimed they were legal tender after the apocalypse. Now Mr. Thibodeau was convinced he and Bernie were practically blood brothers back in Vermont, called themselves the Burlington Three, swore they blew up the original Burlington Coat Factory, which, let me tell you, in rural Louisiana, that's like claiming you burned down the Library of Alexandria. Nobody knows what you're talking about, but it sounds significant. He'd be hollering about occupying Walgreens, hating the 1%, while simultaneously chugging whole milk like it was liquid gold. The man was a walking contradiction, a true Bayou enigma, and he hated those right-wingers. Except for Dick Cruz said his face looked like the whole Dick Tracy movie smushed together. Which I gotta admit is a visual. It's a strong visual, like a Picasso painting made of police sirens and misplaced anger.
It reminds me of when I told Trump a joke once. Now he's just one McDonald's burp away from ending the world, so maybe I'm like the art critic who passed on Hitler's paintings. You know, just trying to pursue plan B. I'm part of the problem. But man, I was watching the Emmys, right? Saw they handed an award out, totally unexpected. Kind of like finding a $10 bill in your old jeans. Pure unadulterated joy. Before the name was announced, you're just sitting there thinking, why do we do this yearly? This just seems silly.
Then you hear your name, man. It's like, this is true love. I saw a comedian, and I'm lucky enough to know them. Dan Lavy was there. It's genuinely happy, like a Catholic and a Jew. Hearing good news at the same time. One is blown away, and the other is just waiting to see how they can make money off of it. Man, I swear, growing up back in Tickfaw, Louisiana, we had this old dog, Cletus. Dumber than a box of rocks. Bless his heart. Cletus used to chase his tail so hard he'd spin himself right into the damn ditch. You know, like those folks who just got to get kicked in the face because they watch the foot coming. Like Cletus saw that tail and you know he'd bite it again. Reminds me of this dude I saw getting booted, right? He looked at us after like, did y'all see that? Needed validation for being an idiot. Now, I ain't one for kicking. I'm a fist kind of guy unless, hear me out, unless you start stretching before a fight. You stretching, I'm out. All right. So I was back home in Louisiana last summer, right? Visiting my Aunt Karen. Bless her heart. She still calls the internet the web. Like it's 1998 and she's got to catch some digital flies in it. And she's showing me these articles on her iPad. Screen cracked like a bayou riverbed after a drought. And she's going on about hot moms this and hot moms that. And I'm thinking, Aunt Karen, you're trying to be hip, but you're about as hip as a square dancing convention at a Cracker Barrel. And right, she keeps saying it's the algorithm, but all this online self-care stuff for moms, is it real? It reminds me of this time I saw a raccoon trying to unlock a car door with a Slim Jim
Looked real dedicated, but you knew deep down it wasn't going to work, you know? And I'm not saying moms shouldn't take care of themselves. Lord knows they deserve a vacation to Aruba after birthing a human. I'm just saying back in my day, which was 81, we saw more moms putting the family ahead of themselves, like my own mom running on fumes and coffee so dark you could see the future in it, doing the kids' homework, cleaning up puke after a Saturday night wedding, you know, the real mom stuff. So now these hot moms on Instagram, they doing all this yoga and like posing with their kids for the gram. It's all shiny and perfect, but are they teaching them anything useful? Can they even change a tire or tell a squirrel from a chipmunk? It's like, I appreciate the dedication, but you remember that kid falling down videos on YouTube that used to be accidental, like pure unfiltered chaos. Now they staged like a damn Shakespeare play. You see that kid walking toward that hot stove and the parents got the camera out, ready to hit that record button. It's like, go on, touch it, learn from your mistakes. Anything for the clout, which is creepy, really creepy. Makes you wonder when the line of good parenting or just content gets crossed and it's a whole new world.
So I guess all I'm saying is let's bring back the messy, imperfect, real mom moments. The ones that don't get likes but make all the difference. Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to go sign posters, kiss babies. Maybe learn how to unlock a car with a Slim Jim. Good night, y'all, and remember, stay weird.
Yeah, all right. So there I was back in Louisiana, probably chasing a squirrel or something, you know, just living that bayou life. And I overhear this gal telling a story all hushed like about some fella, right? She's saying he's yelling. She's saying she don't know how he feels. Typical Tuesday. But then bam, she's changing the subject, asking him questions, trying to be all empathetic. See, now I'm sitting there 6 beers deep thinking this is just another sob story, you know, like when my Uncle Earl lost his dentures in the crawfish pond. Sad, but you move on. But then this lady drops a bomb. The fella only got one leg, y'all. That's like trying to ride a unicycle in a hurricane. It just ain't gonna happen smooth.
And that's when it hits me. This gal was hiding the leg situation. Like she was trying to sell a used car with a busted engine, just glossing over the details, you know? Suddenly, I'm picturing this poor dude back at his place, and I ain't gonna lie, my brain went to a dark place. Like one of them back roads you ain't supposed to drive down after midnight. I started thinking about the logistics, if you catch my drift. Like that's extra room. Like them suicide doors on a Lincoln Continental, you just move the stump, bam, instant access. I felt terrible, y'all. Like I just kicked a puppy, so I tried to apologize, buy him a Bud Light. But he just huffed, stood up on his crutch, and hopped off, probably to go think about life and stuff, you know? But hold on, this ain't all doom and gloom, 'cause later on, back in college, and not too long after the crutch incident, as I call it, I was at a Jello wrestling party because that's the kind of sophisticated stuff they do in Louisiana. And this dude comes up to me on the staircase out of nowhere and he's all, "Hey, aren't you in my physics class?" Now I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed, especially after a few rounds of Jello. So I was like, I don't know, maybe. Turns out we were in physics together, but I was too busy trying not to get slimed to notice. So we start sitting together. He's a nice guy, kind of smart and good shape, likes to party. Man, I'm down in Orange County, right? Real deal OC. Not that fake LA garbage. And I hear this story about a chopper dude. Pops built this tour business for 38, like clockwork, then hands it off to his son, American dream kind of stuff, right? Like, son, here's the keys. Don't screw it up. Keep TheoVon Erics of helicopter tours going. And the kid's all right, Dad, love you too, gonna make you proud. Probably had 4 kids already, that traditional life they push on you. 5 days later, 5 days from balloons, and a congratulatory cake. This kid, he's probably barely got the script down. Like, yeah, folks, look to your left. Beautiful Orange County, 27 miles of beaches. Seatbelts, please. But only one dude shows up for a couple's tour. Red flag, right? But bills gotta get paid. So they hop in, 10 minutes in. This guy just yeets himself out the door like a reverse Houdini, straight into the Pacific. I'm thinking, what in the actual tarnation? 5 days in, this kid's already got a story that'll be on I Shouldn't Be Alive. But turns out, the jumper, a 61-year-old, was riddled with something awful. Chronic pain, doctors throwing up their hands. Figured he'd had enough, and in my book, that's a goddamn hero. He wasn't gonna go out like some sissy overdose on pills while watching The Notebook under Nana's quilt. No, he went full Evel Knievel. Think about it, soaring over the land he loved. Then bam, swan dive to freedom. Shoulda had a cape on, I'm telling ya, he probably had his feet on the dashboard.
chugging a Dr. Pepper, not even listening to the tour spiel, just thinking adios. But here's the kicker. The cherry on top of this crazy Sunday, the dude lived 500 feet above the ocean. You'd think that'd be a wrap. But he must have hit the water like Greg Louganis. Minimal splash. Except witnesses said it looked more like a mannequin getting tossed out, so probably a belly flop of epic proportions. Like a seal trying to do a cannonball. But listen, that don't change nothing. The intention was there. I still respect the hell out of this guy. I just feel bad cause on the way down he's probably thinking 3 more seconds of pain, 2 more seconds. Oh god, this is worse. This is way worse. It does have a happy-ish ending though. He passed away later at the hospital. So here's to him, God bless him, and I hope someday I have the sheer audacity to orchestrate a grand finale like that. Even if I botch the landing, just a dude trying to stick it to the man in the sky. Even if he just ends up looking like a big ol' sea pancake.
Man, Montreal, y'all are alright. Reminds me of shrimping back in Tick Fall, Louisiana, where the only thing louder than the mosquitoes was my Aunt Shirley and Aunt Uncle Dale for drinking all the RC Cola again, you know. That woman's voice could peel paint off a barn from 50 yards. That's the thing about women, ain't it? Up close, whispering sweet nothings could launch 1,000 ships, but try hearing them at a football game. Sounds like 2 squirrels fighting over a dropped pickle. Now that brings me to this whole first lady business. See, my grandma used to say, a chicken ain't got no business in the hen house if it ain't laying no eggs. And I'm thinking these first ladies, bless their hearts, they ain't elected, they ain't paying the bills. So why they gotta be running their mouths like a hound dog chasing a mail truck? Like, if you hire a fella to fix your leaky faucet, and his wife, who ain't never held a wrench in her life, starts telling him to reroute the pipes through the attic, you gonna look at her sideways, right? Just 'cause you're married to the plumber don't make you a plumber. Now I'm hearing whispers about Hillary getting back in the game and scratching my head. How'd she become a senator anyway? Went straight from being the president's missus to sitting in Congress. Like she jumped the line at the crawfish boil. Should Tom Brady's wife be calling the plays for the Rams just 'cause she married a football player? Ain't no magic powers transferred through matrimony. This all started with Nancy Reagan, bless her soul, waving her bony finger and telling us to just say no, like we was all just waiting for permission to quit huffing paint thinner. Than Hillary with her health care plan. Michelle preaching on 60 Minutes, gotta give it to the Bushes though, they kept their women in line. Barbara was silent as a church mouse, and the other one, Paige or Bethany, something like that, I ain't even sure of her name, but Dub had her on lockdown tighter than Fort Knox, made sure she smiled and nodded when he told a joke. Now I'm hearing folks say a woman president's gonna change things, but I ain't buying it. The president makes, what, 400 grand a year? Try telling that to a Wall Street banker with $100 million bonus. Ain't gonna make a lick of difference if they got a dick or a clam, black or white. Nothing's gonna change till somebody gets froggy and starts going full Rambo on those gated communities, taking out the folks pulling the strings. Until then, it's just gonna be a different pair of tits telling us the same old song and dance. I'm staying at a hotel here. Love hotels, feel safe, you know, lobby full of folks like a human shield. If some axe murderer comes strolling, hear the scream. Got time to plan, barricade the door, turn on the shower, hide between the mattresses. Good old misdirection. Used to stay in motels, now there's a recipe for a heart attack. Sleeping 2 feet from a door leading straight to the parking lot. Any yahoo can kick it open, drag you out buck naked. Ain't nothing scarier than facing a chainsaw massacre in your underpants. You tell yourself you'll fight back, grab a lamp. But deep down you know you'll just squeak like a chew toy and end up seeing nothing but carpet ceiling, looking back at your own pasty body anyway. This theater's alright. At least nobody said it's haunted. Every damn time you go to a theater, they gotta tell you about the ghost. Built-in 48 tribute to Rocket Richard. And we got a ghost named Michael. If you believe in ghosts past the age of 8, you're dumber than a box of rock. What's the end game for a ghost anyway? On a basement forever, waiting to spook the boiler repairman? If I was a ghost, I'd fly straight to the CIA headquarters. Sit in on meetings, go to the Super Bowl, find out what they're really saying in the hub, and spend an eternity trying to scare an accountant into solving my murder. I'd be looking for that damn RC Cola. That's where the real secrets are.
All right. How we doing tonight? Y'all good? You look good. Even you in the back with that thing you call a shirt. Bless your heart. Reminds me of my cousin Dale. Bless his soul. Always wore shirts, 2 sizes too small. Said he kept his power source contained. Dale was a plumber. And by power source, I think he meant his beer gut and the methane factory behind it. Anyway, Dale also loved those true crime shows, the ones about guys who, well, let's just say their power source was pointed in a different direction, you know? It's wild, right? These ladies out are glued to these shows about dudes doing unspeakable things, things that make a honey badger blush, but then you'll go walk alone in the dark listening to true crime podcasts like you're researching your own demise. It's like watching a documentary about bear attacks and then going camping with nothing but a harmonica.
in a dream. Now, me, I saw one of them shows about a guy terrorizing joggers at dawn, and I haven't jogged since. I'm talking flat out retired from the whole dang exercise scene. You try to get me on a treadmill now, I'll look at you like you just asked me to wrestle a gator in my underwear. It's all bench press and protect the posterior from here on out, boys. Don't forget that rowing machine. That's just begging for trouble. Out there looking all vulnerable. Can you imagine the headline? TheoVon, renowned intellectual and connoisseur of gas station sushi, assaulted on rowing machine. No, sir, not on my watch. Ah, you bet your sweet bippy if some creep's chasing me in the park, stark naked and fueled by pure malice. I'm not just jogging, I'm entering the dang Olympics. Usain Bolt levels of speed, high knees and all. That's right, Schultz wasn't jogging in the park at night, son. He was auditioning for the Fast and the Furious with 7. Yeah, let me tell you something. Growing up in Tickfaw, Louisiana, we had this dog, right? Oh, Blue. Bless his heart, dumber than a bagged egg hammers. Used to chase his tail till he threw up, then try to eat it again. The Blue. He had this one trick, seeing a car coming a mile away like he had radar or something. Reminds me of my girlfriend in true crime, I swear. She's obsessed with serial killers like Blue was with his own rear end. I mean, her Netflix queue is just a parade of Manson, Bundy, Dahmer. It's like a horror movie marathon every night. It's nuns getting off hookers, disappearing, kids. Well, you get the picture. Then she watches Great British Baking Show after like a palate cleanser after a feast of darkness, which I find so goddamn terrifying. Man, I was just down at the Piggly Wiggly the other day, right? And this fella, bless his heart, he's trying to return a watermelon. Says it didn't taste like nothing. Like, what you expect? Sunshine, a symphony in your mouth. Anyways, it got me thinking, like, this whole putting yourself out there thing, you know? Like, when I first started doing that weird voice for Digman, that Nick Cage meets psychopath, I don't even think Nick Cage knows he's the muse. He's probably too busy wrestling alligators or something. He ain't watching Comedy Central, probably busy building pyramids out of his old scripts. But seriously, South Park's right before us, and those fans are die-hard. Been watching longer than my grandma's been making sweet tea, which is saying something. So all I'm asking is y'all, just leave the TV on, all right? Let Digman play in the background. Man, I was just back in my hometown, you know, in Loranger, Louisiana, population smaller than the number of teeth my Uncle Earl lost to possum wrestling. And this fella, bless his hair, tried to connect with me over grits at the Waffle House. Grits. Like, that's the best we got, buddy. But it got me thinking, see all these gigs, city after city, and folks are always asking, Theo, are people the same everywhere? And I tell you, some places are like a stale gas station burrito. Just plain wrong. But underneath all that, deeper than the mud on a gator wrestler's boots. Everybody, and I mean everybody, just wants to connect, you know? Like when you see a hound dog and you just know you got to give it a belly rub. It ain't about the language. It ain't about the fancy cars or the teeth. It's just that human or canine urge to link up. And when you got chemistry with someone, that real stuff, it's like finding a $20 bill in your grandpa's overalls. Pure gold. Do you want to hang, maybe date, maybe even, and I ain't judging, maybe you want to bury him 18 miles west of Lake Worth and get a little thrill every time you drive by. We all have our things, right? But sometimes, Lord have mercy, sometimes there ain't nothing there, like trying to make sweet tea with salt water. I'm checking in at this hotel the other week, see, and this dude behind the counter, he hits me with the small talk shotgun. Where you from? Los Angeles, I say, hoping to shut it down quick. But he's like, oh yeah, I got family in Denver. I'm thinking, dang, what are the odds? Then he drops the bomb. Yeah, they got a furniture store. I'm trying to be nice. I like to sit on furniture. All right, settle down, y'all. Let me tell you something. Reminds me of the time my cousin, Skeeter, tried to train a squirrel to water ski on Lake Pontchartrain.
Real deal.
Skeeter was convinced he could make this squirrel a star, had this whole contraption rigged up with toothpicks and a tiny styrofoam board looking like something out of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Now, Skeeter, bless his heart, ain't exactly men's material, more like a box of rocks with a mullet, but he's got this unwavering belief in the absurd, you know? Anyway, this squirrel named Nutsy, by the way, because Skeeter ain't exactly creative either, just kept swimming back to shore looking at Skeeter like he was speaking Martian. Skeeter got frustrated, started yelling at the squirrel, hold on tight, Nutsy, you gotta commit. Made me think about these comedians getting booed off stage, feeling like that squirrel just wanted out of there, looking at the crowd like y'all speaking Martian or something. See, there's something primal about stand-up. It's like bare-knuckle fighting with words. You gotta walk out there naked as a jaybird and tell a room full of strangers that you're funnier than they are. Now listen, I grew up in Louisiana, right? Where the only thing thicker than the humidity is the judgment at a potluck after church. And let me tell you, even I wouldn't trust myself to wrangle a herd of toddlers single-handedly. It's like trying to herd cats with a fishing pole dipped in molasses. I ain't got that kind of saintly patience those women got, Lord. They can discipline a kid, then go back to their book club like nothing happened, smiling sweeter than a sugared pecan. I'd be hotter than a hound dog chasing a rabbit in July. See, I try to be nice, I really do. Start off all gentle. Hey, hey, now don't touch that sugar. Then 5 seconds later, I'm morphing into a Cajun drill sergeant, yelling, get over here, you little heathen. Put the thing down. I said nah. It's like my blood pressure's tied directly to their level of chaos, and their chaos is usually at 100.
It's my son, bless his heart, when he throws a tantrum. It ain't like a normal kid crying. He does this weird guttural moan, like a possum 7 in existential crisis. It's the dumbest thing I ever seen. But it also kind of scares me, I ain't gonna lie. One time I thumped him, just a little one, to knock him off balance. He didn't know what to do, like a squirrel trying to ice skate. But my daughter, she's a whole different breed. That girl's got me wrapped around her little finger tighter than a tick on a coonhound. I spoil her rotten. I admit it. That's what daddies do, right? But the crazy thing is, she knows she can play me. She's like a miniature Machiavelli in a tutu scheming against me and her mama. Man, I swear, growing up in Louisiana, you know, we had this one dude, Cletus, looked like a thumb with a mullet, always trying to sell me fireworks he found behind the Piggly Wiggly, and it reminds me of trying to do comedy in Brooklyn, you know? I did a black room, right? Thought I was woke, wasn't going to do the white guy thing, you know, be myself. Lasted 3 minutes, man. 3 minutes before I was bombing worse than a flock of pigeons in a park fountain. Someone told me I had to go in there severely autistic or talk about Pokemon. Like, what the heck is that? Because apparently black people love Japanese cartoons like more than a possum loves roadkill. Didn't know that. Had zero clue. Thought they were busy building pyramids or something. Speaking of clueless, remind me of prison. It's so wild in there, man. Can I just visit people in prison and tell them I love Japanese cartoons? Do I have to know them? Because I feel like if you go in there and shout Tyrone, you're all right. Like 80% of the inmates will be happy to see you. Reminds me of back when we used to ding-dong ditch the town church. All right, folks, let me tell you about my Uncle Earl. Bless his heart, used to collect dryer lint, right? Not just any lint, mind you. Earl only collected lint from his underender, said it was like harvesting tiny, fluffy memories of his day, you know? Anyways, Uncle Earl, God rest his soul, he'd always say, Theo, life's like a lint trap, catching all the weird stuff. But it's what you do with that weirdness that matters, and Lord have mercy, he was right. That brings me to Joe Biden, bless his heart. Old Sleepy Joe seems like he's collecting weird moments like my Uncle Earl collected lint, you know? Just piles them up. See him with Greta Thunberg? I'm predicting awkwardness so thick you could spread it on a biscuit, that's a fact. He'll be whispering sweet nothings about the ozone layer. She'll be glaring like he just single-handedly melted the North Pole. It'll be a YouTube gold mine here. I'm telling you. And Asians, now there's a group, y'all. Smartest folks on God's green earth. They're building iPhones while the rest of us are arguing about politics on Facebook. That's a fact. All right. Check this out. Grew up in the sticks, right? Had this buddy, Cletus. Bless his heart. Thought mayonnaise was a musical instrument. Swear to God. Anyway, saw this lady the other day bragging about having 4 Rugrats, saying she ain't changed a bit. And I'm thinking, honey, you're a walking red flag, a full-blown circus of instability. That's what you are. It ain't got to be nothing drastic like trading your minivan for a monster truck, but a fella's got to take stock, you know? Me, I'm proud of what I kicked to the curb, arguing. Used to bicker with everyone from my grandma to the darn squirrels in the backyard, but now, nah. Someone starts throwing verbal haymakers, I just flip them the bird. Figuratively, mostly, they're like, Theo, I disagree, and I'm all, yep, you're right. I'm on your side now. Their heads spin like a dog chasing its tail.
Man, growing up in Tickfaw, Louisiana, population maybe 100 and a dog, and life was simple, like cornbread and Chitlin Simple, I swear. I remember one time, me and Little Man, that's what we called him, because, well, he was little, and a man we were catching crawfish down by the bayou, and this old lady, Miss Evelyn, she comes strolling by with her chihuahua. Peaches dressed in a full-on Saints uniform, because that's just how Miss Evelyn rolled, right? Anyway, Peaches starts barking at the crawfish. Miss Evelyn starts yelling at Peaches. And I swear, Little Man just looks at me and says, Theo, sometimes I feel like we're living in a cartoon drawn by a squirrel on meth. And I was like, Little Man, you might be onto something, you know? It's like that's my whole childhood encapsulated right there. Weirdness, beauty, and a hint of existential dread.
Which brings me to this thing about respecting authority, because my mom, bless her heart, she had a way of teaching lessons that involved cussing, violence, and a healthy dose of Southern sass. See, I was a rambunctious kid, always running my mouth, always pushing boundaries, like a beagle chasing a mail truck. One time, my teacher, Miss Green, sent a note home saying I was acting a fool in class, which, let's be honest, was probably true. All right, so growing up in Louisiana, right, we had this kind of swampy, murky creek behind the Winn-Dixie, and my pops, bless his heart, thought it was the perfect place to teach me how to swim. Now, I was like 7, maybe 8, all elbows and knees, scared of everything that wasn't a crawfish boil. And I told him, Dad, I can't swim. I ain't got no swimming skills, just my natural charm. He just looked at me, this kind of squinty-eyed look, like I was speaking another language, and goes, Boy, you got 2 arms, 2 legs, and a heartbeat. You can swim. Get in that damn water. No instructions, no floaties, just pure, unadulterated Southern logic. He just picked me up like a sack of potatoes, chucked me into the deep end, 7 feet of Louisiana gumbo. And let me tell you, folks, I went down faster than a politician's approval rating after a scandal. I'm flailing, gasping, swallowing half the creek, thinking this is it. This is how I meet my maker. And all I hear is my dad yelling, Don't you dare drown, you little varmint. I ain't paying for no funeral. Like, seriously? So I doggy paddled my way to the edge, coughing up creek water and broken dreams. And the whole ride home was just silent, awkward, like a possum at a debutante ball. All right, folks, let me tell you about something I saw back home in Louisiana. This old fella, Cletus, bless his heart, he thought camouflage made him invisible, wore it at the grocery store. The bank even wore it to his own dang divorce hearing, claimed his wife couldn't see him to serve the papers. Judge wasn't buying it, looked at him like he was a squirrel trying to pay for nuts with bottle caps. But anyway, it reminded me of something way bigger, something on the news. See, it's like this whole China, Taiwan, Australia, America shebang. It's like Cletus trying to hide in plain sight, thinking nobody notices him stuffing crawfish down his overalls at the Piggly Wiggly, but really everybody's just politely pretending not to see. So this Taiwan thing, right? Everyone's all puffed up with their chests out, and I'm just, hang on a second, are we even going to know who we're fighting anymore? I mean, you see how many folks are rocking those free Hong Kong shirts with the same kind of confused look I get when I try to assemble IKEA furniture. It's like trying to tell the difference between a possum and a raccoon in the dark. Both got pointy noses and beady eyes, and you probably don't want to mess with either one, you know? We're going to need some kind of system, some kind of, I don't know, secret handshake, maybe a password like the crawfish boil is at Aunt Mildred's, and if they answer bring the boudin, then we know they're on our side otherwise. Well, it's going to be a real dang cluster, like trying to herd cats through a car wash, I'm telling you. And don't even get me started on the accent thing. I mean, I can barely understand my own mama when she's talking about the gizzard she found at the butcher shop. How am I supposed to decipher Mandarin, Taiwan, or whatever else they're speaking over there while the missiles are flying? So I'm just saying we need a plan, a real down-home common sense plan. Maybe we just give everyone a breathalyzer, whoever blows the highest wins, or maybe, just maybe, we all just sit down, share a plate of fried okra, and figure out how to avoid this whole mess in the first place, because war, folks, is like a hangover after a crawfish boil. Nobody really wins, and everyone ends up regretting something they did. Man, timeshares, remember those? It's like the mullet of vacation ownership, business in the front, party in the back of your bank account getting drained. Reminds me of my Uncle Dale. Used to sell vacuum cleaners door to door. Swore he was going to retire on dirt futures, whatever the hell that was. Anyway, timeshares. Thought Airbnb killed him. But then I started thinking Airbnb's just a timeshare with extra steps, right? You're sharing somebody's time and probably their questionable hygiene habits. Let me tell you, I ain't trusting no stranger's loofah. That's where the swamp creatures breed. I'm telling you. Speaking of swamps, used to stay in these budget motels back in Louisiana. Felt like I needed a tetanus shot just looking at them. But hey, $60, and at least I knew the roaches were paying rent just like me. Now, Airbnbs, they want you filling out forms like you applying for a goddamn mortgage, then they got signs everywhere. Don't flush the toilet paper, pet the cat, but not too much. It's like taking a pop quiz on somebody else's weird life. Went on vacation once, end of December, first one in years, felt like a damn alien. Stayed at a resort, though. No way I'm trusting Brenda from Des Moines with my vacation serenity. Hotels impersonal. Hell yeah, that's the point. I want anonymity. Not a family photo album staring at me while I'm trying to unwind. Imagine getting intimate in an Airbnb surrounded by pictures of strangers skiing in Tahoe, Talk about a mood killer. It's like getting blue-balled by a stock photo. Tried the Airbnb thing once. Peak pandemic, figured I'd live large in Phoenix, rent a mansion with a basketball court and a pool. Baller status, baby, but the gig got canceled, only got half my money back. Felt like I got scammed by the Monopoly man. Man, let me tell you something. Back in Louisiana, we used to have possum nights instead of game nights, 'cause ain't nothing brings out the worst in folks like trying to trap a critter that's already halfway to Narnia. But now I gotta let my friends invade my house monthly for game night. And I swear, it's like watching a bunch of toddlers wrestle a greased pig, especially when Monopoly's involved. We don't even play it right. It's like we're negotiating treaties for outer space. Like, look, Chad, you can bypass Boardwalk twice, but you gotta pay that damn late fee. I got a Blockbuster back in '04 deal. And the women, bless their hearts, they hit that wine and suddenly their brains evacuate the premises faster than a Baptist church on Halloween. They got two settings, stone cold sober and I think I just saw Elvis. There's no in between, no simmering. They just leapfrog over sanity. Straight into did I just try to pay my taxes with Monopoly money? Then last time my wife, bless her tipsy soul, lands on my property and I'm hitting her with the DJ scratching noises. You gotta pay that rent, baby, cha-ching, and she's slurring like a swamp donkey trying to recite Shakespeare. How much do I owe you, babe? Looks down, she's broke as a joke, so I snatch her piece, yeet it across the room like a crawfish at a Mardi Gras parade, and she starts getting all emotional. All you care about is winning. I'm thinking, dang, this escalated faster than a squirrel up a pecan tree, and I blurt out, well, all I care about is coming sometime. And then Harry and Wayne chime in with their own marital woes, like there's some kind of support group for Monopoly-induced existential crises. I swear next time I'm bringing the possums.